In a bustling city, there was a dedicated project manager named Sarah, working for a tech company. She was known for her meticulous planning and successful project deliveries. Her team admired her for her leadership and fairness. One day, the company assigned Sarah a crucial project with a tight deadline. It was a big opportunity, and success meant a potential promotion. Sarah dove into the project with her usual dedication, planning every detail and coordinating with her team. However, she faced an unexpected challenge in the form of a new team member, Jack. Jack was transferred from another department. He had a reputation for being smart, but also arrogant. From day one, he undermined Sarah's authority, questioning her decisions and suggesting alternative strategies without understanding the project's full scope. His behavior caused tension within the team and slowed down their progress. Sarah tried to address the issue diplomatically, offering Jack a chance to explain his ideas in team meetings. But Jack's arrogance only grew. He started bypassing Sarah, directly communicating with senior management and presenting ideas as his own. This betrayal shocked Sarah, but she decided to handle it strategically. Instead of confronting Jack openly, Sarah meticulously documented every instance of his overreach and misinformation. She gathered evidence of her original plans and how Jack's interference was harming the project. Sarah also encouraged her team to keep detailed records of their work and contributions. As the project deadline approached, Jack confidently presented a final plan to the senior management, significantly deviating from Sarah's original strategy. Sarah was prepared. In the crucial meeting with senior management, she presented her well-documented evidence, showcasing how Jack's changes were flawed and how they threatened the project's success. Sarah's presentation was factual, clear, and convincing. The senior management recognized her expertise and dedication. They immediately reverted to her original plan, reprimanding Jack for his unprofessional behavior. The project was back on track, and under Sarah's guidance, the team worked tirelessly to meet the deadline. The project was a resounding success, impressing the clients and the company's higher-ups. Sarah received praise for her leadership and problem-solving skills. Her strategic approach not only saved the project, but also highlighted her professionalism in dealing with difficult team dynamics. Jack, on the other hand, faced consequences for his actions. His reputation for being arrogant and uncooperative spread throughout the company. He was moved to a less critical role, and his career at the company stagnated. Sarah, through her calculated and professional revenge, not only protected her project, but also taught a valuable lesson in humility and teamwork. Her story became an example in the company, often cited in management training about handling workplace conflicts effectively. Once in a big city, there was a young intern named Emily, who started working at a well-known marketing firm. Everyone liked her for her hard work and creative ideas. In the office, there was a senior employee named Mike. He was smart, but not very nice. He often took credit for other people's work. Emily didn't know this at first. One day, Emily came up with a great idea for a new advertising campaign. She shared it with Mike, hoping to get some advice. Instead, Mike presented Emily's idea as his own in a big meeting. Everyone praised Mike, and Emily was very upset. Emily decided she needed to be smart to fix this. She came up with another idea, even better than the first. But this time, she was careful. She only told a few trusted friends in the office about her plan. Emily started working on her new campaign. She also secretly recorded all her work on her computer, showing the dates and times. She even wrote a detailed report about her idea, emailing it to herself for proof. A few days later, Emily accidentally left a note about her new idea on her desk. As she expected, Mike saw the note and again took the idea to the boss, claiming it was his. This time, Emily was ready. She asked for a meeting with the boss and the whole team. In the meeting, she showed everyone her records and emails, proving the idea was hers. Everyone was surprised. The boss was impressed by Emily's work and disappointed with Mike. Emily got the credit she deserved, and the boss gave her the lead on the new campaign. Mike was embarrassed. He realized that he couldn't steal ideas anymore. He apologized to Emily and promised to be better in the future. Emily's clever plan showed everyone that she was not only creative, but also smart and brave. She became very respected in the office, and her career started to grow fast. In a cozy little town, there was a popular cafe owned by a kind woman named Lisa. Her cafe was known for its delicious pastries and warm atmosphere. Everyone in town loved to spend their mornings there, enjoying the fresh coffee and treats. One day, a new bakery opened right across the street. The owner, Mr. Grayson, was determined to be the best in town. He started spreading rumors about Lisa's cafe, saying her food was made from cheap ingredients and wasn't fresh. Lisa was heartbroken to hear these lies, but she decided not to confront Mr. Grayson directly. Instead, she thought of a clever plan to show everyone the truth. She started by creating a new line of exquisite pastries, each more delicious and beautifully presented than the last. She also began documenting her baking process, showing the high-quality ingredients she used and the care she put into every batch. Lisa then organized a bake-off event in the town square. She invited everyone, including Mr. Grayson, to participate. The challenge was for each participant to prepare their best pastry, which would then be judged by a panel of local food critics. Mr. Grayson, confident in his skills, accepted the challenge. The day of the bake-off, the town square was bustling with excitement. Lisa and Mr. Grayson set up their tables and began to bake their specialties. As they worked, Lisa displayed her process openly, letting everyone see the quality of her ingredients and her skillful techniques. Mr. Grayson, however, kept his methods hidden, making people curious. When the time came for tasting, the judges went around sampling each pastry. Lisa's creations were an instant hit. The judges were impressed by the flavors and the craftsmanship. When they tasted Mr. Grayson's pastries, they found them good, but not exceptional. The judges announced Lisa as the winner of the bake-off. The crowd cheered, happy to see their favorite cafe owner vindicated. But Lisa wasn't done yet. In a surprising move, she walked over to Mr. Grayson and offered him a deal. She proposed that they collaborate instead of competing. Lisa suggested that they could both benefit from each other's strengths, her baking skills and his marketing savvy. Mr. Grayson, humbled by the defeat but recognizing a good opportunity, agreed. The collaboration turned out to be a success. The town now had two thriving businesses working together, offering a variety of delicious foods. Lisa's Cave continued to be the beloved morning spot, and Mr. Grayson's bakery found its niche with unique bread and sandwiches. Lisa's sweet revenge not only restored her reputation, but also brought the community closer together. Her story became an example of how patience, skill, and a positive attitude can turn a difficult situation into a rewarding opportunity. I want to share a story from when I was about 12. My grandma had divorced my grandpa and married a man I'll call Bill. Bill was in his late 60s, from East Texas, and very religious. From what others said and things he mentioned, I guessed he didn't like people who were different in race or who liked the same gender. Luckily, I didn't see him much because they lived far away. But on big holidays like Christmas, we'd visit them for a few days. As a 12-year-old girl, Bill made me feel uncomfortable. He always asked if I had a boyfriend or if I liked any boys, often repeating the question during our visits. I didn't like it. I would just say no and stay in another room to avoid him. A few years later, when I was around 17, my mom said Grandma and Bill would visit us for Christmas. My sister was going to have a baby soon, so we couldn't travel. When my mom noticed I wasn't happy about Bill coming, I told her how he always asked about boyfriends and it bothered me. I joked that next time he asked, I'd say I had a boyfriend and a girlfriend. My mom, who liked stirring things up, said I should do it. I had a plan. Back then, I only liked boys, but many of my high school friends were LGBT+. One of my best friends, Mindy, was bisexual. We decided I'd pretend Mindy was my girlfriend. It would seem real and easy to remember. I asked Mindy if this was okay, and she was excited to hear about it afterward. If other family members who didn't know about our plan asked about Mindy, it would make the story more believable. We talked about her and brought her up in conversation. The boyfriend was going to be all made up because I already had a plan about him. Me and my mom were in the kitchen, and Bill was sitting alone at the dining room table. My mom, who likes to stir things up, started the conversation even before Bill could ask. She acted like she was sad when she talked about Mindy not being able to come. I joined in, saying Mindy had family visiting too. I turned to Bill, and seeing he was listening, I told him Mindy was my girlfriend. His face was so shocked, it was satisfying. He asked if I was serious, and I just went with it. I said, "Oh yeah, Mindy's my girlfriend. She's super nice. And we also have a boyfriend. His name is Julio. He's in prison right now, but he didn't do what they say he did. Julio is sweet, and we're planning to get married." My mom joined in, agreeing with everything. Within minutes, I had Bill believing I was dating a girl and a guy in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He was so shocked he didn't talk to me for the rest of the holiday. Later, my grandma asked my mom why she told Bill those things. My mom explained, but Grandma thought what I did was worse than Bill's small talk. I don't think I ever saw Bill again after that. Grandma left him a few years later. I like to think he still believes those stories about me. My mom was great for helping with my plan and making Bill believe all those wild things about my life. It showed him that his judgment and intolerance weren't welcome. Our next story is about getting back at an office Karen. This story is from a friend of mine. I was an executive assistant for the CEO and had to work with an executive team, including a woman named C, who was the typical office Karen. Rude, condescending, and took credit for others' work. I was often reported by C for attitude, but C was good at her job and didn't cross any serious lines. I decided to subtly join in on C's game. She made sure her boss heard her praising C on a real client call. When C found out, she was not pleased but couldn't complain without looking bad. The next day, I kept asking C if she was okay because she looked tired, right in front of their boss. This made C even more upset, but I looked like the better person for trying to help. By the end of the day, C was seething, and I was the boss's favorite. As clever and subtle revenge made C more and more frustrated at work. In the next story, I was in my 20s and dating a guy named Brian for about 9 months. He broke up with me to get back with his ex, Jenny. He said he didn't want to miss giving their relationship another chance. I was really sad and angry about it. Sometimes I would look at their social media and saw that Brian and Jenny got engaged soon after we broke up. Around that time, I met another guy, also named Brian. One day, I got a text from an unknown number. It was my ex, Brian. He said, "It's Brian, the one and only." What a joke. I ignored the text. I was dating a new Brian, so my ex was not the only Brian in my life. I checked Facebook and saw that my ex, Brian, and Jenny were not together anymore. Jenny was with a new guy, also named Brian. My boyfriend, Brian, and I got engaged and have been married for 10 years. Jenny married her second Brian too. It's funny to think my ex thought he was so special, but he was replaced by 2 other Brians. I wonder if my ex knows about the 2 new Brians and how he feels about it. It's one thing to see your exes happy with others, but it's something else to see them marry someone with the same name as you. Our next story is about a parking incident at a school car park. I was reading in my car, waiting for 8:30 a.m. to do some work at the school. A Range Rover parked so close to me that I couldn't get out. The woman driver went into the reception. I reversed and parked on the other side of her vehicle, locking her in. I went into the reception, did my work, and came back 2 hours later. The receptionist told me there was a fuss earlier because a parent couldn't get into their car and had to climb through the passenger door. She struggled because she was larger. I apologized, but the receptionist laughed and said the woman was always complaining and demanding. She showed me a video of the woman struggling to get into her car. It was funny to see. If she had been nice, maybe someone would have helped her, but not with her attitude. Our next story is about getting revenge on a father who was unkind. I've always had a tough relationship with my dad. He was often angry and yelled a lot. Since I moved out, he got 2 new dogs but didn't take good care of them. They were often left outside and not leashed. One day, I visited my dad, but he left to get weed. While he was out, the dog catcher called. She had picked up his dogs for the third time. I decided to take the dogs to a no-kill shelter in the next town. They were taken care of properly there. My dad was furious when he found out and started spamming my phone and posting about me on Facebook. Some relatives agreed with what I did, while others thought it was too much. But I don't regret it. I went no contact with my dad, and making sure his pets were in good homes felt good. He didn't deserve to have pets. Our next story is about making a manager's baby picture look funnier. I worked for a retail chain under a manager who bragged a lot about his prizes and his baby. His baby's picture was our display computer's wallpaper. The baby was odd-looking, big-headed, and bug-eyed. One day, I edited the baby's picture, making the eyes 10% bigger. It was subtle, but it made people react weirdly when they saw it. It was a small, petty revenge, but I still laugh about it. Hopefully, the baby grew up to look better. And that's all for today's stories. If you want to hear more, check out other videos. I'll see you next time with more stories.